The trail, covering it with mulch without so much as a permit, and you approved the changes and the alterations of a known historic site, the Ala Loa, for exclusive private use, violating the rights of the first people of this place. The next issue is the lack of outreach that was done to identify genealogical, lineal, historic descendants of the area, some of whom are in this room today. Again, all have failed to do their due diligence. I'm going to skip over because I did also email in other issues, but I want to jump to this issue of what has transpired overnight. I know that Kohala would like you to go back to the original language of the GOE in light of this new easement, and the reason that they want you to do this is so that the document that was signed in June would not allow us to have a decision on this on the trail. Any challenge then would have to be against the council's decision. Please postpone this decision until we have a new opportunity to review the document. This current contract that you're going to be looking at has no procedure of law. The county did not have a chance to look at it, and it has been introduced after the public had its chance to talk on the easement. All the testimony that went in yesterday, there was no idea of what was being crafted overnight. We didn't really have any idea until after 10, and just a brief phone call this morning. So please postpone your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Your next testifier.
Hello, council members. I am Albert K. Kahopi Jr. I am here today to speak about the Ala Loa Trail. When I was a young boy, my grandfather, a Kanaka, took me with him. He saddled up horses, and we both rode that trail when I was growing up. We rode that trail from Kohala Ranch down to Kauai High to Mahokona and through Parker Ranch back to Kohala Ranch, long before the road was even built. Between Mahokona and Kohala Ranch, my family and I used that same trail to fish, hunt, and camp. It was on this trail that I learned how to survive off the land. I still remember how the Kanakas there count their catch after a dive or surround a lay net. One call is 40 fish by having one fish to represent the 40. The next 40 is also the same, followed by each fish, then total. The amount would give you the total of your fish. We also learn how to hunt and gather on the same trail that has been used for generations by my ohana. We all know King Kamehameha used that trail to get around the island for makahiki and to check on all the ahupua'os. We still use that trail today. I know my rights as a Kanaka. You do you. I am also a direct descendant, the 8th generation of King Kamehameha the Great. My son is the 9th generation. I am also showing him and my ohana the same knowledge and history that I have learned. He is learning to respect these trails and malamada aina. He is learning traditional and customary subsistence rights. He is learning to gather fish, hunt, and live off the land. He is learning the traditional and customary spiritual practice tied to these ancient places. He is learning the mo'olelo, the stories and his ancestors, Kupuna and Aumakua, that are tied to these trails. Practice handed down from generations before arrivals of Western colonization. When my son was born in 1992, my wife, who is a kumu, Kula, and I took our son before he could walk on the same trail. My kupuna taught me on. We carried him in backpack and walked on the trails through North Kohala, all the way to Kauai High. He learned the history of his genealogy, his ancestors, how to fish, hunt, and gather, camp, dive, and puli. To our kupuna and the ancestors is a generation before him. have done. All parties involved in this destruction of the trail in this instance, Archaeology Plan Department, County Council, the State Historical Preservation Department.
Let him finish.
And the developer have been negligent in identifying the historical cultural significance of the Ala Loa.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Okay, we're going to be transitioning back here to Hilo. Our testifier here in Hilo is Pearl Nakamura, testifying on Resolution 311-14 in support. Good morning. Aloha. Oh, hit the light on the bottom. There you go. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here representing my program, which is Family Strengthening Service through Child and Family Service. And I'm here to, on behalf of Resolution 311-14, which I feel will greatly help our clients, because I feel that transportation is a barrier. And on the other hand, if we could obtain bus passes or tickets for our clients, it would be an empowerment to them, because there's some needs that they have, such as, domestic violence services, counseling. They need to come in to do work programs. And so I believe that if they were able to use these bus tickets, it would greatly empower them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Our next testifier here in Hilo is Dwight Vicente. Mr. Vicente, you're testifying on a number of items. Why don't I just let you read off which one you're testifying, and we'll reset your time for each item.
Hey, good morning. My name is Dwight Vicente. I'm representing the Hawaiian Kingdom. I'm starting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Each and every one of you took an oath to support and defend the U.S. Constitution. But you took a pledge to support that flag behind you, which represents the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Most people will know it as the Monroe Doctrine. Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, representation and taxation, there's only 13 states. Article 4, Section 3, Clause 1, you can admit a new state into the Union. But you also have to amend the Constitution through Article 5 to add a new state into the Union. None of that ever happened. Monroe Doctrine is a colonial doctrine. I hope most of you read it, because I'm going to keep talking till the day I go. So unless you actually understand this, you'll find everything going on is based, what you're doing today is based on that Monroe Doctrine. And it's illegal. (140-13). It is unclear who they're talking about, the public. I'm sure it's not Native Hawaiians, because this kingdom has its own history. Native Hawaiians are with the Hawaiian Kingdom. All others came over as foreign nationals who chose not to be naturalized. Majority of the people that came to this kingdom in the 1800s were contract slaves. Not here to be naturalized, although they could have, but they chose not to. So you have land title in question. These lands are either designated crown lands or government lands. There is no 5F lands here. You'll find 5F lands in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, the 5 states that was created under the Northwest Ordinance. And the developer here is an illegal alien. He incorporated himself in Nevada, which is another illegal state. So that all needs to be questioned. But there's a lot of clarification that needs to take place. Who are you talking about? The developer cannot grant Native Hawaiian rights that pre-existed even the Hawaiian Kingdom. And it continues still today. So they got to be thinking about all these things. Okay, 307-14. I'm sure you heard me say that Daniel Inouye is a Japanese national. There's a history behind that. Japanese were brought here as contract slaves. These were men only, 3 to 5 years. Japan got involved, wanted to get involved with the Bene Constitution, but the white people here rejected that. So the next attempt was the 1893, the Queen's protest. Japan also protested against the illegal removal of the Queen. But the oligarchy that was created by the U.S. Navy, the provisional government, cut a deal with Japan and asked them to withdraw their protests, and they would be allowed to bring over the mail-order brides. That's how you have Japanese being born here. They could not be naturalized. They belonged to Japan. They stayed here. World War II, they were called, December 7, 1941, they were called enemy aliens here. Danny Noy served as an enemy alien in the U.S. military. That was illegal on the part of the U.S. military. He was never naturalized as a U.S. citizen. To be a U.S. citizen, you have to be naturalized in one of the 13 states. You only got 13 to choose from, but only one state. So he died as a Japanese national. Oh, and before he died, he also did one more thing. He tried to remove the U.S. military out of Japan. Japan has been occupied since after World War II. And that's another reason why Japanese cannot be change their status. And if you look at what Prime Minister Abe is doing, he's trying to bring Japan back up to its pre-World War II status, a colonial power, so they can challenge Russia and Japan, China, for their little islands. So you can see the history, how it keeps repeating itself. A lot of illegal activities going on. 309-14. I think if you talk about teen violence in dealing with women, you can go back to the founding fathers of the ones that wrote the U.S. Constitution. They were white men married to white women. They owned slaves. They were raping the slave women. They even had illegitimate children from the slave women. Gave them no child support, gave them no inheritance. So you can see how the violence can be traced over 200 years back to the so-called founding of the 13 United States. So I think that should be part of the lesson, to show that even the leaders, or so-called leaders, is involved in violence. Okay, Bill 198. Here's another illegal development. Development is based on the Monroe Doctrine. Take your military over, occupy, and infiltrate. Bring your people and whoever else you want to occupy the lands by developing them and take control. And that should not be going on today. And I'll end with that, and I'm reserving the rights of this kingdom under the Queen's protest of January 17, 1893, against U.S. Minister Stevens. It has yet to make its way to U.S. Supreme Court. Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2, original but limited jurisdiction, only over the illegal acts of the U.S. Minister and the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Supreme Court has no jurisdiction over this kingdom. And the other one is the Bene Constitution, which was forced upon King Kohala at gunpoint by foreign nationals. The other one is the Reciprocity Treaty. Reciprocity Treaty is not based on the U.S. Constitution, it's based on the Monroe Doctrine. It violated the U.S. Constitution by signing an illegal treaty to station the Navy here at Pearl River, to occupy and take control. And it's still here yet, with no treaty at all. They should be removed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vicente. Thank you, Ms. Nakamura. Okay, here in Hilo, I'd like to ask the next two testifiers to please come forward to the table, Marcia May and Larry Gehring. In the meantime, we'll be transitioning back to Waimea. Donnie, your next two testifiers.
Thank you. I have Janera Esquera and Jeff Thatcher. They're both talking on Resolution 140-13.
Aloha, I'm Janera Esquera. I'm a homeowner of Kumuana, Kaho'opi. I've gone there when I was young, and now they take away the trails, and it saddens me, because first they take away the trails without asking. This how can people just take away something that is not yours? Please understand that I'm not here for make humbug, but you know what? This is my ancestors' bones lie there. We go there to do traditional stuff over there. You guys take away everything. We couldn't even go without somebody being with us when I went on the trail. It saddens me more because now I cannot take my kids there. My kupuna in the past who took me there, I cannot take them down there because it's too rough now to walk, where before you could just drive down, and now they're telling you cannot go because it belongs to somebody else. My mother-in-law, she cannot go. Her father took her there a lot. Her father happened to be a Konepule, and he took her there as a child. He took my husband there as a child. I cannot go there now because we have people telling me what I can and cannot do. First, they're telling we cannot walk one place that we usually walk. They cover our trails. That trails was made there by people in our past, by our Aumakua, by our people behind us, our kupuna. All I'm asking is for please help us. We're asking you guys hold a table. If you guys can please have at least some common decency, please, for our people. I understand our people not here, but we do have people that are trying to stand up for ourselves. If you understand, please. I don't know what else to say, but you know what? I do wish to take my grandchildren there. I do have grandkids there, but they cannot walk down there by themselves. It's really rough. I went down there and it was they was telling me I couldn't walk, and it was me and my grandkids with my daughter. And you know what? They told us no, you cannot go. And you know what? They wanted me to sign a form, and to me, why should I sign a form where that's where I go do cultural stuff? I do that kind of things because that's what we believe. That's our beliefs. When my mother-in-law went there, she went as a child. They did that type of things as well. When I grew up, I went there, and now get people telling me what for do, what for talk about, what I can and cannot go down there and say. But I wanted to tell you guys thank you, because right now she's still telling me I get 30 seconds left. Thank you, bye.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Satcher, you're next.
Council members, my name is Jeff Satcher. I'm from Kohala, and I'm here to oppose Resolution 140-13. I've attended County Council hearings and have listened to testimony as well as questions and answers regarding this issue. It seems obvious that that there are dramatically different opinions and interpretations with regard to public access and native tenant rights in this area. This is a decision that cannot be taken lightly, and it's in your hands. It's incumbent upon you to dig deeper into the information you have been given from both the public and the developer to determine what is fact, what is fiction, and what is simply misinterpretation. You have also been made aware of the numerous failings on the part of the planning department and the developer with regard to this entire process, and documents have been cited that bring into question the information that you have received. So until you can get it all sorted out, how can you possibly cast an educated vote? Please don't become party to these failings. Last night and again this morning, I heard about a conservation easement that was being discussed. While it all sounds quite good, as always, the devil is in the details, and at this point, no one seems to know the details. And once again, this has been done without community input. So I'm asking that you table your vote on the grant of easement due to information about public highways that has been provided to you so that it can be determined who owns the Ala Loa, how public access will be made available, and who will maintain this easement. I'm also asking that you table your vote on the proposed conservation easement until the community has time to read the definitive written agreement, but more so because I'm not sure that this is a council matter, but rather one that becomes a federal matter. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Satcher. Okay, we're going to transition back here to Hilo. Our next testifier here is Marcia May, testifying on Resolution 309-14 in support. Good morning, aloha.
Aloha. First of all, I'd like to compliment all of you on being really up to date with the problems that we have right now. And I see things culminating, coming together, lessening some of the problems. And if you know my background at all, I have been very active in drug and crime prevention in Puna, especially for children. And as a classroom teacher, I've actively taken part in 3 programs to help children value themselves so that they won't hurt their bodies and not do drugs. One of the violence issues is definitely with the drug that's prevalent now, which is crystal meth. It causes great violence, and even though we did have some good TV ads initially, meth not even once. And the other problem is the date rape drug. And I remember specifically always saying, if you are at a party and you have a drink and you need to use the restroom, either take it with you or throw it out. And that right now is a very serious problem in the Hilo area. But I put together this for you. I've been on a consortia for 2 years now. It involves like maybe 10 agencies, one of them being the Department of Health. And the committee that I was on was trying to bring health services to the rural areas that are so greatly in need. The other problem that I see right now is the infiltration, that's a rude word, by the Department of Social Services to bring people with problems from Oahu to here. Dysfunctional families, families with drug problems, and they are now residents here. So these are maps showing the needs for example, pregnancies under the age of 18, and you're addressing, Sendo, the need for transportation is perfect because the more isolated they are, the more difficult it is, to take care of the problem. And I hope while I'm still here on the earth that some of this will get better. I'm not used to talking into a microphone. I'm used to using my gymnasium voice, but I would like to make it really loud and clear that what's happening now is not good, and it is up to us to help these young people. And also, I know, being from a Kalapana family, that there was a place where you went if you wanted to fight. If the monarchy came to visit the Queen's bath, no one raised their eyes, no one looked. And so, respect and caring is a traditional thing, and teaching community and family. And I believe there is a definite effort to go back to that. So anything we can do to encourage that is good. I'm not sure what to do with the new meth population, because they'll do whatever they need to get money to support their habit. And then also, I did learn last night at our community watch meeting in Puna that it's very difficult for the police to get a warrant to go into meth houses, etc. So maybe you can put that in there somewhere. Anyway, you'll all be getting a copy of this. So during your deliberations, I hope it'll help you, in any issues that come up now. It's not as current, statistics are a reflection of a couple years ago. And I know that now it's probably even more severe, but I do want to share this information with you. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you, Ms. May. We have a request if you could email this document to us, or is it?
Copied no.
It's being copied by Zendo.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, you have it.
Go ahead.
We have it, but we have it in black and white, and I think sometimes the color copies are much better.
If you can I leave this with you?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, I'll
but
leave
if we
it with
could
you.
get it emailed, scanned and emailed out to us, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ford likes her color coordination, so.
Visual pictures say more than all the words, yeah?
Yeah.
So, it's like It is true. The color makes it like, here it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, our next testifier is Larry Gehring. He's testifying on a number of issues. Mr. Gehring, why don't you just let us know which item you're testifying on first, and we'll transition with the next item. Good morning, aloha.
Thank you. I'll try and take them in numerical order. Good morning, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Larry Gehring, Hilo. Resolution 307-14, the pharmacy building. I appreciate your trying to get some action this way. You know, they've been dragging their feet. The state legislature have been dragging its feet forever. Maybe you can put it out to an open bid and come up with a consortium of construction companies, rename the building to reflect the names of the construction companies and make it move forward if they're going to drag their feet. We don't need Honolulu for everything. We don't really need them for anything, but we have to put up with them. Resolution 310-114, electronic scoreboards. I don't have any problem with this unless the scoreboards are purchased from a company controlled by a county employee or family. The closed bid is very disingenuous and wasteful at best and needs to be eliminated. You get better service and lower prices with open bidding, and the track records of the bidders can be examined for following through with service. Resolution 312-14, funds for agriculture, business, and tourism in Pona. That's a great idea. I don't have any problem with this one either, unless the funds are going to be controlled by a county employee-owned business. We need more ag business and tourism in Puna, period. Open bidding ensures better price, better service, and fairer involvement of businesses in the county. Resolution 313-14, auditor appointment. Kudos for appointing an auditor, long overdue. Maybe now the taxpayers can get some transparency, accountability, and credibility. And I in particular, would like to know what happened to the $6 million that was left over a couple of years ago. Where did it vanish to? Resolution 314-14, shoes and slippers for lifeguards. I'm happy that it's a donation because at a value of $18,300, that makes for a lot of happy feet. Bill 196, highway improvements using lapsed fuel tax funds. I don't want my share, and thousands of people don't want their share, of the lapsed fuel tax funds to be used on highways when the downtown streets of Hilo, which are an absolute disgrace, nothing's been spent down there for years, for decades. And why should the unused funds automatically go to the projects listed when the core of downtown Hilo streets have languished for decades? While the no priority administrator of the Public Works Department, Warren Lee, can't seem to understand the word priority. New software is not needed, Warren Lee. Just drive on the streets and feel the holes and ruts and sunken manhole covers damaging the suspensions of vehicles. Incredibly stupid idea. Get in line, highways. And I guess I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Maybe the highway funds includes all streets. I don't know. But if it does, I guess they still have to get in line. Bill 197, transfer of excess funds. Once again, no priority. Warren Lee does not understand the meaning of priority. Transferring any excess dollars to Public Works is a bad decision, as Public Works is not transparent, has employee-owned contracts, a closed bidding process, and has not been audited for a long time. A couple of years ago, the state auditor, the legislative audit of the highway fund was conducted, and was highly critical of the Department of Public Works handling of the gas tax money. The DPW and its highway maintenance and traffic divisions lack basic internal control systems to gather, analyze, and communicate information. Goes on. Poorly executed. But the bottom line is, they don't know how to manage their money. And why should the excess funds automatically go toward highway account when so many miles of downtown Hilo have been languishing for decades for repair? Am I the only one in this room who drives downtown? It's scary. They're an absolute disgrace, and if this is the best that you can do to impress tourists, then you should get a new job. Misappropriations. The Public Works Department knows how to waste taxpayer dollars and is badly in need of tighter supervision. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gehring. Thank you, Ms. May. Okay, We're going to be transitioning back to Waimea. Before I do that, I'm going to ask Mr. Brewer if he could please come to the table. Okay, Waimea, Donnie, your next two testifiers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have Alea Capelliala, who is representing herself and testifying on Resolution 140-13, and Solomon K. Akau, representing himself and testifying on Bill 140-13.
My name is Alea, and I am Haumana of Kumuana. My great-grandfather is a Kanipule. My family's mo'olelo is tied to the Ala Loa Trail. It makes me sad that I am now not allowed to go there anymore. I am being taught traditions, practices, and going on the Ala Loa is in position to my learning. Please don't take away the trail. I think it's just like, I think it's sad because the Ala Loa Trail, I grew up with the trail, and we're going, yeah. Don't forget to say mahalo when you talk. Okay. I go in the water and I just like we chant to everybody. Mahalo. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Your next testifier, Donnie.
You're on, Saul.
My name is Solomon Akau. I was here the last time that we met, and I made a request to the mayor or his office that I wanted to see a clear title on that land where Resolution 140-113 is at. They're talking about the Ala Loa Trail. I want my Ohana's here to know something about this. It's not a sad day, what they're talking about, because this will never happen. You do not have the right to that land, because I have the clear, what you call the clear title for that land. And my Ohana is that owns that land at one time, and you all know it because you made your research. And I know my research. Elizabeth Kalaniana Ole Woods, the owner of that land. I want you to understand that. And I want you to understand that we have the power. You don't. You are foreigners here. U.S. government is a foreigner on this land, on our Aina. Now, back in 1980, go back and do your research. Judge Ezra from Honolulu, he could not, adjudicate the case of Auntie Margaret Grace. Auntie Margaret Grace won the case. Nassau wanted to make the launch pad down at South Point, and the Japanese, corporation that bought some of the land in that area for Auntie Grace, it's all POW, all finished. They don't have any rights to the land, and you don't have any rights to that land, because you're not showing me that clear title like I had requested. I want to see it. If you don't show it to me, this is all finished. You all POW. Okay? Understand it now. Get it to the mayor. Understand this. Go to the governor. Understand all these rules like Dwight, told us today on the screen. He knows what's going on. I know what's going on. So you understand what is all power? All power is all power. All these kind of stolen or underhand things that you are trying to pull, make it finish. Because hila for your part, not for me. Your part. That's it.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Okay, we're going to transition back here. Well, excuse me, is there a testifier in Kona? Mr. Flaherty, did you want to testify?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, can we go with Kona first and then come to you? Okay, Mr. Scott, I'm sorry. You have just Mr. Flaherty or any other people?
Yeah, just Mr. Flaherty. He's going to speak on two items. The first item is Communication 668 in support, and the next one is Resolution 140 in opposition.
Okay, what
representing? Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, go ahead, Scott.
Representing Kona Hawaiian Civic Club. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Aloha kakayaka, members of the Hawaii County Council. I would like to voice my support for the nomination to the Board of Ethics for Dr. Ku Kahakalau. I have observed her on the Hawaii Island Burial Council for a number of years, and she is a quite wonderful addition to any commission. She takes the time to understand the laws and rules and regulations that are involved in whatever endeavor she's involved in, and treats everyone with a great deal of respect, and at the same time has no problem with raising the serious questions and getting the serious answers. So I think it's an excellent nomination, and I support that. I'm speaking in opposition to Resolution 140 on behalf of Kona Hawaiian Civic Club. I submitted written testimony to you that showed basically that this trail is owned by the state of Hawaii. I've understood prior testifiers talking about issues of title, but I would like to say that in 1892, Queen Liliuokalani and the Kingdom of Hawaii's legislature passed the Public Highways Act of 1892. That made the Ala Loa into a public highway. When the Republic came into being, that public highway still existed. When the territory came into being, that right-of-way and public highway still existed. There has been some issue as to whether or not there was a trade of this public highway for the main government road having an expansion of the right-of-way, but the law in effect at that time in 1935 clearly states that if the boundaries of a public highway are not determined and referred to in the certificate of title, then there's a subsisting encumbrance, meaning regardless of whether it appears in the title or not, the encumbrance is there, and therefore the claim the claims that were made and withdrawn are really irrelevant because we're talking about a subsisting encumbrance. And I later have learned that 1935 section 5041 is currently reflected in Hawaii Revised Statutes chapter 501-82, and it's pretty much the same language that states that same exemption, so that the Ala Loa Trail continues to be owned by the state through a subsisting encumbrance. This issue needs to be addressed. It's not addressed in Resolution 140. I know that there have been negotiations with the Ala Kakai National Historical Trail, and this idea of a conservation easement has come forth, which may or may not be a good thing. We don't know at this point, but there could be implications with regard to native tenant rights, traditional and customary practices that have been referred to today in previous testimony. So at the the very least, I would postpone this resolution, but optimally, I think it should be withdrawn or voted against, and have these discussions with the community. It's very disturbing that the people with legal standing in this issue have not been brought into this discussion still after all these requests, and so therefore either postpone, please, this resolution, or go ahead and vote against it and let the community and the landowner and the state and the Ala Loa Trail and whoever else would like to be involved come to a solution to this issue that involves the entire coastline of West Hawaii. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony, Mr. Flaherty. Okay, we're going to transition back here to Hilo. Mr. Brewer, if you can hit your button on the bottom. You're testifying on Resolution 312-14 in support. Good morning, aloha.
Good morning, Council. My name is Derek Brewer. I'm with Kohala, Hawaii. I also taught business plan development for farmers in the Puna area, and there's massive interest in farming. A lot of people are doing farming, and there's a lot of techniques out there that people need to learn more about. And one of the things I was requested was, like, in my business class, people were asking me about even Farming 101, Permaculture 101 type classes that would be available if those existed. So I'm massively in support of this bill. I would just say that, you know, I don't know the details exactly, but I would hope that if there's workshops and things available, that would be, you know, minimal priced or free or something along those lines, if this is county money, so that that could be available to people who can't necessarily afford it. There are permaculture workshops and things done through many groups on the island, but some of them can be as much as several $1,000s and over several months long. So something that would be, you know, convenient and available for the people in Puna that would be affordable and usable for them. And otherwise, I think that's a great idea, and I support this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our last testifier here in Hilo is Lahi Lahi Di Soto McCullough, testifying on Resolution 140-13 for comment. Good morning. If you can hit the button on the bottom. There you go.
Hi, aloha, council members. My name is Laura Lahi Lahi Di Soto McCullough, and I am opposing Resolution 140-13, the Ala Loa Trail. And I walked the trail last week, and there's no way I can take my children or my kupunas through that trail. It was very treacherous. It was very arduous just for me. And I've noticed that the boundaries went over the Ala Loa Trail. So we don't have access to part of that. I've also noticed that there's a grave site behind the boundaries where Kohala Kai is taken over. And so do I have to ask permission to go and see my kupunas who is buried there? Because, you know, there's no access. When I walked the trail, my friend, I had to hold her, and she's 55. I had to hold her from falling down, going down that trail. Now, if that's public access, I don't think the public would be able to go because of the trail, the way it is. And I'm very opposed. There's 3 parking areas. Where does everybody else park? I remember taking my children, my husband, we'd go down there, we'd fish. It's supposed to be public access, and we didn't have any problems with that. So now I'm appalled by the way it is, and I really think you guys should take a look. Go down yourselves and look at that trail. You will understand what I'm talking about. So I oppose Resolution 140-13 because our ancestors built that trail because of access to our natural resources. So, as you can see, I'm emotional about it. And I want all of you to take into consideration that my future, my mo'opunas, my grandchildren, will not be able to have access to what is their right as Hawaiians. So please take into consideration about this resolution, and I plead with all of you. I thank you for giving me this time, and I appreciate it. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Mahalo. Okay, let's see. Let's check in with the other sites. I believe we've taken care of all of the public testifiers. To any of the other sites? Oh, Miss. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Carrie. Is there anyone else that wants to testify at any of the various sites? Please let us know. If not, we're going to start with our agenda items. Hearing or seeing none. Okay, council members, it's about 10 o'clock. Do we need a break? Or are we ready to proceed? 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Okay, 5-minute recess. 5 minutes. Recess.